welcome back, everybody. This is the UUR podcast. It's me, Rodnesha. I'm here with Callie.
Hi.
We are back to hang with you guys for another recap of our new favorite show, PLURIBUS. We are heading into episode 6, HDP, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said that right?
Yes.
For a second, as I started that sentence, I started thinking HDMI, and I was like, don't say that. And I got really worried. Anyway, yes, HDP. And we'll talk about what that stands for as we get into the episode. If you've watched the episode, you know what it stands for. Anyway, before we jump into our recap, let's have a debrief. Let's chat. I'm not going to chat about what's going on with me because, again, it'll just become a therapy session that you guys did not sign up for.
Oh, no.
And we don't need that.
I was going to say, you're deep within the fringe trenches.
I'm in the trenches of fringe. Yes.
We don't have to.
No, we don't, and we shouldn't. For those who don't know, Hollywood Fringe is a theater festival that happens every year in LA. There's actually different fringes in different locations. There's one in New York. There's one in Edinburgh, Scotland. Those are the three probably most popular ones. I don't know if there's fringes elsewhere, but those are the three I know. Hollywood Fringe is probably one of the biggest theater festivals, I think, in existence. Someone can tell me if I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that is what I've been told.
Did Fringe start in Hollywood and then go to the others, or did it start somewhere else?
A great question that I should know, and I don't. I'm not sure.
I feel like we've had this conversation on the show before, because at this point now you've done it while we've been doing this. At least this is at least the second time, possibly the third time.
Let's look it up.
Yeah, I know. When my dad still lived in Toronto, I got him Fringe Festival tickets for his birthday a couple times because I think theirs is around the same time as Hollywood's in June.
Okay, it is saying maybe it started in Edinburgh because
I was going to say this is saying Edinburgh, the one that
it's saying it started from a concept that started in Edinburgh, Scotland. So
that's pretty cool. Shout out to our very own Mrs. Milchek, Destiny Faith, who starred in our table read as Milchek. She is doing a one-woman show, premiering it in Hollywood Fringe this month, and then she is going to be able to do it in Edinburgh, which is pretty exciting. True. She has a fundraiser to help fund her trip.
That is true.
Yeah, shout out to our table read people doing stuff.
I was going to say, we've got a few people this year that are in some Fringe shows. Let's see, J. Elijah Cho. He actually has 2 Fringe shows he's doing right now, but one of them I think he wrote with his partner. And then another one of our past Flip the Scripters, Heather, is also in a Fringe show
is she
this
Fringe?
year. Yes, she is. It's her first Fringe.
I didn't know she was in. Oh, yay, baby Fringe.
So Heather Ludwig, she's going to be in the show Nilbog, which is a musical about the movie Troll 2.
It's a lot of musicals.
Yeah.
You're in a musical. J. Elijah is in a musical. Okay. Sorry to break it to you, listeners. By the time we post this, Fringe Hollywood will be over.
That's true.
Because we are pre-recording.
This will be a conversation with the past.
but, I mean, just keep an eye out because this will be your 3rd year.
This is my 3rd year. We'll see if I make it 4. Fringe can be a very unique experience for those who have done theater traditionally. It is not like that. It's just a much more compressed timeline. You're on a rotating schedule. It's kind of cool once you're into it, but getting into it can be a lot. So again, if you've never done Fringe,
have you ever considered attempting to write a one-woman show or just a duo or something?
Because... Are like the 4th person who's asked.
Oh, I mean, that seems like that would take some of the logistical issues out of it too.
Yeah. So here's the thing. It's not that I wouldn't do it. I think I don't have an idea. So I haven't figured out something that I could write that I would want to put up. A few other people have asked me this year if I've just considered not necessarily writing something, but directing as opposed to acting.
Ooh.
Also would not be opposed to that. I've had some nominal directing experience with our projects. I've not directed somebody else's script or something like that. Again, would not be opposed to it. Just opportunity hasn't presented itself. So who knows? Maybe next year we'll show up to Fringe in a different capacity. I don't know. I'm going to have a lot of downtime coming up. So my plan is to use that time to just reflect and figure some stuff out. But I actually wouldn't mind directing a show. It'd be an interesting change of pace. And as you already know from the stuff we did with Flip the Script, I can get very into it when given the space to do so. And then it can also just be very fulfilling to just like watch a show kind of take off from the direction you've given it.
And I mean, some people don't want to be this type of director, but you don't have to be there for every performance as the director, you know?
Well,
and
that's the good thing about
Festival
theater.
can give you some pretty crazy schedules.
Yes. Usually in the case of theater, once it is fully like out of previews and fully staged, you can take your hands off the wheel and just let it fly. And that is kind of nice.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. Outside of that, I've been trying to just allow my brain to check out into other worlds of make-believe. A lot of finales have happened in the last week, so I've been tuning into those. Caught the end of not Handmaid's Tale. I always say that. Caught the end of Testament.
Very
Caught
good.
the end of The Boys. I feel like that already happened from the last podcast.
Yeah, you had already talked about that one.
And then what else had a finale? I feel like there's another show.
Euphoria just finished.
Euphoria did just finish. So here's what's funny about that. Which I think I've told you, I don't watch Euphoria, but this last season has had a lot of hullabaloo, so much so that I've been like, well, what's going on with Euphoria? Like, why all the discourse?
Yeah, so, terrible time to start, Rodnesha.
I know.
Did you start with it? Did you watch the first two?
So here's what I did.
Oh my God.
Here's what I did. I've watched 0 episodes.
Oh, okay. I was like, if you started with 3, you need to cleanse your palate with 1 and 2.
No. I found a video essayist who gave a whole debrief of the first 3 seasons and was like, here's season 1, here's what happened with each character, here's their story arcs, here's what was important, here's the relationships, here's how it ended, and did that for each season. It was like an hour-ish video, but it was a great way for me to be like, oh, okay, now I know who is who and what's happening and why it's important and why, again, there's so much discourse coming into this final season, you know, in terms of actual actors who have passed and have left the show, and so how that's changing dynamics. So I have been keeping up episode by episode, again, with just people recapping through the season. So I have a general gist of what's been going on. I do actually want to go and watch the final episode just because it seems very intriguing and there's a lot of visual things that I was kind of hearing about that I was like, I kind of want to actually see how it plays out. But that's as much as I want to. At this point, the ship is sailed.
It might be good. I mean, you might... You might like it as someone not attached to anything.
How do you feel it wrapped up as someone who has been on the journey since season 1?
I mean, throw the whole season away. So there's things that I would change about the finale, but that doesn't fix everything because there's things that I would change about the whole season. You know what I mean?
Okay, fair.
I mean, no spoilers, because by the time this is posted, this will have been like 2 months after it aired. So by the end of it, I just really didn't care about anyone except for Rue.
That's fair. From what I hear.
And so Rue's death ends with her reaching to her mother, hugging her dad, who is passed
long past
prior to the show starting. And so it's like a coming home. It's all ethereal. And then we just get that like a breath of like, right. Could have ended there. There was still 30 more minutes of show after that. And I was like, throughout the whole thing, I was like, I don't care. You already made me hate this person. You already made me hate this person. You already made me hate this person. I do not give a fuck what's happening to any of them. And then I was just like, I'm just finishing it because I'm here and I need to
I have to.
The rest of it. But I really didn't. I really didn't need any of the last of it.
Okay.
I just want to end for the viewers. If you haven't watched Euphoria and you were curious and you said, "Now I'm not gonna," I don't want you to not watch Euphoria.
Okay.
You can throw away all of season 3.
Okay.
And if you don't want to take the time to do season 1, the 2 special episodes that they released in between because of COVID lockdown, and then season 2, I implore you to at minimum watch season 2, episode 5. It's lovingly, colloquially called Run, Run, but the actual title is, wait, hold on, let me get it right. Stand Still Like a Hummingbird.
I was gonna say, I remember hearing about that when it came out. I'll have to add that to my list of ones to watch, but
it is a masterpiece. I don't know that I have ever rewatched a singular episode of an episodic
Mm-hmm.
by itself over and over as much as I've watched that one. It's good. It's standalone masterpiece.
Okay.
I would say you could watch that episode just by itself the same way people can watch Chikai Bardo from this season of Severance.
All right. Well, those are our thoughts. Mostly Callie's thoughts on Euphoria.
I'm so mad at this season. Let's throw the whole thing away. Like I said, throw it all away. It's terrible.
Oh boy. Well, I guess if you're listening and you have thoughts on Euphoria, if you want to share them, come talk to Callie about it. She'd love to have some discourse and discussion with those of you if you have feelings about this final season.
Join our
overall.
Patreon, because if you're listening,
most of this conversation is going to be there.
A fraction of my disdain for season 3 of Euphoria. Well, let's give you a summary for HDP, shall we?
Yes.
Okay, so brief summary here. Carol records her discovery from Agrojet, the packaging warehouse, which is filled with hundreds of shrink-wrapped body parts, human body parts. She then decides that she's going to drive to Las Vegas, where Mr. Diabati is living in the penthouse of the Westgate. He has been having the others play out a Bond-like fantasy for him, but Carol's arrival causes the others to leave the city. Mr. Diabati reveals to Carol that he is already aware of her findings about the human body parts, and he shows her a recording made specifically for her by John Cena that explains that the others cannot kill any animal or plant. Hence, to sustain their bodies, they supplement their diet with human-derived protein, or HDP, from dead bodies. Mr. Diabati also reveals that he and most of the immune, all but Manusos, stay in touch over Zoom calls, from which Carol is excluded due to a majority vote. This information devastates Carol. The next morning, Mr. Diabati reveals that the others have learned how to convert the immune by extracting their stem cells and customizing the virus to the individual person. However, they require the person's consent to do so because it involves a very big needle to the hip to retrieve the stem cells. So Carol calls the others to firmly refuse consent before leaving Vegas. Then a flashback to 3 days prior shows Manusos receiving the first of Carol's video messages and finally realizing that he is not alone. Taking Carol's address from the package, he gets in his car and drives away, but not before a brief encounter with his mother, who is now a member of the others. That is your summary.
All right. So, as far as cast goes for this episode, of course, we continue with our main cast, Ray Seahorn as Carol Sturka and Carlos Manuel Vesga as Manusos. Joining our cast as guest stars, we have John Cena as John Cena, Samba Shoot as Mr. Diabati, Francois Quartery as Blowfinger, Soledad Campos as Maternal Other, Anna Mara as Vesper, Max Reeves as Margot, Olivia Royer, or why did that word got away from me? Okay. Olivia Royer as Genevieve. Our co-stars include Jordan Munn as Lady Luck, Sharon Zhang as Nastya, Joette Waters as Joette. Oh, she got to keep her name. Nice. And various others, including security guards and other people found around the poker table, etc. We'd name you all, but there's always just so many. So many. This episode was written by Vera Blasi, Ariel Levine, and Johnny Gomez, and directed by Ganja Montero. Here we go. If we're ready, into our scene by scene.
I was just going to say, those 3 ladies popped up again, Vesper, Margot, and Genevieve, guest stars. They were billed as such in episode 2, and we said we didn't know who they were. So they must just be the same 3 people that Diabati is keeping around him. But it's just interesting that they're getting such high billing because they never speak to him.
Oh.
They never have lines. That's why we didn't know who they were. I was like, here are these names again, but who are they?
Now, this is
I gotta
interesting.
assume they're just the people who flank him.
Yeah, they must be. I guess maybe this is based on the amount of screen time they get.
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
How much focused screen time. That is interesting. Good for them.
Yeah.
Guest star roles are not easy to come by.
Yeah.
That's the easiest guest star role you could get. You just got to show up and look pretty.
Right?
Don't got to say a line. I wish. So they have good agents that negotiated that contract, let me tell you. All right. Um, let's go ahead and get into our scene by scene and start with our cold open. I was going to start it, but I just did the cast.
Oh, you're right. Yes. Okay, my turn. Okay. Bodies, bodies, bodies. We open to see Carol run out of the Aggrejet, disgusted by what she found at the end of the last episode. So Carol runs to her car to get her camcorder, takes a breath, and goes back inside. She begins filming and giving a tour of the facility, Blair Witch style, just breathing heavy and yeah, she's stressed.
Mm-hmm.
And she reveals to the others what is in the packages by holding up a shrink wrapped human head. She says, "That's not a butterball turkey." And she then moves on to shine her flashlight down the hallway. And she says, "Down that way, the room at the end is filled with meat grinder and giant cooking vats." And then before she can continue on to tell us what's in the vats, we can assume what's in the vats.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We cut to Carol returning to her house in a flurry. So she quickly removes the SD card from the camcorder, packages it up to send like she did with the previous ones. But then before she calls the others, she has a second thought about it. And she decides to put the phone down and she goes to pack a duffel bag. Then she leaves the house with her car keys and her bag and returns right away as if she's forgotten something. And then we cut to seeing her wearing her PPE. She has her face mask on, a face shield, and she's vacuuming up the white powder that she had knocked over onto the floor the previous night before she went to discover Aggrejet. Now that she knows that it's human bits, she's like, let's vacuum this up.
Not let's vacuum it up. Let's vacuum it up with all the face coverings we can.
Yes, right. And I was like, I saw that part and I was like, I don't blame you because isn't it like dangerous to like inhale like bone debris and
I
stuff?
know there are certain diseases or things that you can get from dead proteins or dead people bodies, something like that. So yeah, that does make sense. I just think it's funny, since we're on that subject, the first time through, I remember that scene with her vacuuming and it just didn't clock to me that she had the face shield and stuff on because she now realized that it's human remains. So I was like, oh, what a weird way to vacuum. But I guess now it's like, I think I also didn't think about the fact that it was the stuff she had knocked over out of the bag. So I was like, oh, I guess she just all of a sudden needed things to be super clean because she's been touching dead body parts. And then it was like, oh no, that is dead body parts actively on her floor.
That is dead body parts. Yes.
So yeah, it's funny that you said in the breakdown Blair Witch, because that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, oh, this is so Blair Witch right now, which then that made me think, did the kids know what Blair Witch is? They don't know.
The kids don't know.
The kids don't
not
know.
Unless they're horror film buffs.
That's
and they're
true.
like going back and watching old stuff. Yeah, the kids
That's
don't
true.
know we're old.
Yeah, I know. But I need people to understand. Now, granted, probably the majority of people that are listening to us are in our demo, in our peer group. So I'm preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
But if there happens to be some Zoomers or younger who are listening, younger, Gen Alpha. But if you are listening, maybe you're Gen Alpha and you're listening. I don't know.
Oh, Lord.
Listen, they're bored. They just start listening to stuff. Who knows? But the point is, I need y'all to understand the chokehold that the movie The Blair Witch Project had on our gen.
There was truly nothing like it before.
No.
We're in a time in cinema where it's hard to do something new.
Mm-hmm.
And it was already like that then.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And Blair Witch, there was nothing like it before.
The whole
and now
found footage thing.
Any handheld found footage. Yeah, exactly. Anything you hear now, anything you see now.
All Blair Witch.
All because of Blair Witch.
Yeah. And we actively lived through that. And here's the thing about it, guys. So not only just as a cinematic feat of achievement was it getting recognition, it was the fact that for the longest time when that movie came out, we thought it was real. Like, people were like, wait, is this real?
A minute.
Is the Blair Witch real? It took forever because we didn't have social media. So there wasn't something that could get around to be like, oh yeah, no, it was just shot in this way that made it feel like found footage, right? It felt like a real thing. And then I remember distinctly at that point in time, I was living in Texas. I went to go see the movie in the Woodlands, which is an area near where my dad lives in Subdivision. And so when we were driving back, we're driving back through trees and it's dark and we only have the flashlights or the headlights of our car. And I was just like, don't like that. Like, don't like
Nope.
that. We cannot, do we have gas? We cannot stop. We cannot stop. Yeah, it was a big freaking deal. So yeah, anytime I see found footage stuff like that, but it clearly was an homage the way they shot it in this scene. Like they
Yeah.
clearly, because even the up close, like the POVs that they had in Blair Witch, so much of it was like under angles. So you're like getting all these up
Yeah.
angles of like noses flaring. I'll never forget that one shot of the nose bubble
No,
that the girl had.
like, and then snot dripping down her. She
So
was stressed.
yes. So that is what I automatically think of anytime someone does it right. Because some people have tried to do it and it doesn't always work as well. This would be one of the examples I think where it does. I also found it funny when she started talking about the shrink wrapped parts. There was a pause that made it seem like she was about to say bodies, but then she said shrink wrapped items. And it's just the way she said it. I was like, okay, that's funny. It read kind of comedic, like the anticipation there makes it think.
Yeah, what's funny about it to me is I feel like I was like, I mean, we know the first video she made was very much like scripted and calculated, right? And then it gets less so as we go on. But I was like, see, this is a writer's brain because she wanted there to be a big reveal.
Yes.
Because why wouldn't she have just said it?
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, look, there's humans everywhere. Look at this. Look at this, right? And even up until like
she had to like pull back all the layers.
Home, she's like, right. She's like, and let me tell you what's down there. I bet you can guess.
You're never gonna guess what it is. I'll bet you'll never guess in a million years.
Right. I was like, that's just her writer brain. Like she can't not just say it straight.
Listen, the funny thing about that, yes, very much the writer brain, but also, I guess for me, which maybe that is also a writer's brain, like, I just kept laughing. I was like, Carol's so dramatic. Like, these are the things that I feel like people tell me that are like, you're just being really dramatic telling the story. And it's like, that's just the way, I guess, your brain goes through it. Like all the details, like the details matter. I gotta make sure you understand that this happened and then this happened. And watching it, I was like, okay, Carol, just get to it. Like, you found dead bodies. Just say, I found dead bodies. But I understand when you, for whatever reason, you just go into that mode of storytelling where it's like, let me show you what's going on over here. And then look at this thing over here. And it's like, okay, what is it? So I do find that funny. I can relate as a dramatic storyteller myself. You had a fun fact.
Fun fact, the head that she holds up is Vince Gilligan's head. It's a bust of his head. And obviously not his
actual head.
you can't really tell in the show, right? Because the plastic is like pretty opaque. It's not like transparent. But he just has it. Like, it's just, the art department made it him, wrapped it up, put it on the shelf, and then gave it to him as a gift. And he just has it in his office.
So here's a question. Would you, if you were in said position, would you keep your head somewhere in your office? Would you want your detached head somewhere in your writer's office?
Honestly, probably, because it's funny. I mean, if I'm the writer of Pluribus,
okay, that's
and
true.
they used my head, and I mean, why not?
I don't know if I'd want to look at myself. I feel like I feel like it'd be weird. On one hand, it is funny. On another hand, I'd probably just look at it on occasion and just be like, ugh, like, it's very realistic. I don't like that. But if you're into creepy stuff and that sort of thing, then that probably would be fun for you.
Yeah.
I definitely did not realize that till you said it. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to go back.
I heard him, and I think they must not have been telling everybody while it was happening, because I saw an interview with Vince and Ray Seahorn together, and he was telling her in the interview. She didn't know.
Oh, that's fun. So she didn't realize because it was all shrink wrapped by that point. How funny. Huh.
Yeah.
What was her reaction?
She was like, what?
Well, that's fun. The little hijinks you get to get into when you're on set. And for the art department, too, I'm sure that was fun for them to create the head of their creator. All right. I don't know. That's our cold open. I don't have much else. 'Twas what it twas. So let's move on. All right, guys, time to go to Vegas, baby. So we find a woman stands behind a bar making martinis as big band music is playing in the background. It is very loud, very vibrant. The camera zooms out as she walks away, revealing a huge photo of Elvis Presley on the wall, and we realize we are in Vegas. The room is bustling with people dressed in fine clothing, schmoozing and boozing. It's live and it's exciting. We make our way through the crowd to the penthouse, following a different waitress until finally we come to Mr. Diabati, of course, sitting at a poker table. He is in the middle of a face-off with a man with an eye patch. Unknown. And the scene we come to realize is straight out of a Bond movie. The one-eyed man goes all in, then reveals a straight flush, but Mr. Diabati, of course, wins with a royal flush, the one thing that can one-up it. The room roars with applause. The one-eyed man threatens to get revenge, but Mr. Diabati says, "Not today," and suavely walks away with his harem of women, one on each arm, and then he pauses quickly to invite others to join him, because he's just that kind of lover. When he leaves the room, everyone remains silent, and as soon as he is cleared, they immediately begin cleaning everything up. Mr. Diabati's fantasy Bond scene is over. No need to carry on the charade of characters. They get to work. Later, we find Mr. Diabati is enjoying a hot tub romp with 5 naked others. An older woman also walks into the scene, and Mr. Diabati invites her to join in the fun too. She begins to remove her clothing, and then all of a sudden, everybody goes quiet and still. After a couple of seconds, they resume and apologize, saying that he has a visitor. The others begin to leave the hot tub, and they tell Mr. Diabati that he can come with them if he wants, but he said, "No, I can't do that to her." And that's when we know it's Carol. Carol's coming. All right. What a funny scene. I have been waiting for us to talk about this scene.
I know. I know
for
you have.
so long. I was like, when do we get to Vegas? When do we get to Vegas?
You're like, there's a scene later. There's a scene later. And I'm like, I know she's talking about the Vegas scene.
I am. And now we're here. I couldn't remember which episode it came. I was like, how far into the season before we get to this one? So yeah, here we are. This scene, I just remember, and now it's so much more evident because I'm picking up on the other little things, but this scene was the moment that I was like, see, these folks are this is a charade. They don't really feel excited. They don't really care. They're just putting it on for the people that are there. And then as soon as you're gone, instant drop.
Yep.
Instant drop.
Yeah,
let's back it up.
And well, I was going to say, and with that thought, I was like, why then are they even bothering with it in the rooms that he's not in prior to? Like, I get, like, as soon as he leaves this room, they stop everything. He wasn't in the hallways leading up to it and all of that stuff. Like, why is she delivering drinks to others on her way to him?
So this is my thoughts on that, but then I'll take it further because it expounds in a different way. But my thinking is they've probably done this multiple times, and probably, I'm guessing Mr. Diabati wants it to feel so immersive, right? So it's like, oh, I don't like that nobody's like doing stuff back there. Can they be doing business back there? And oh, if I decide I want to get up and go to the restroom, I want everybody to be looking like they're having the best time, and I want everyone to feel like they're at a party. Like, he wants it to feel like it's real, even though they're clearly just recreating and stacking the deck in his favor so that he's the hero champion, right? But it feels like one of those things where probably each time they've gone through it, he's like, I kind of want people to be over here like making out and like getting sexy, and I kind of want people back here in the kitchen making drinks and cocktails, and so all of that's flowing. Like, I just want it to feel alive. Like, I can see him being that kind of director, so to speak, of this.
Which, that is related to one of the other notes I had then too, because I was like, at first it's like, okay, they're just cleaning up, they're done. But then on rewatch, I'm like, no, they're resetting, like on a film set.
Back to one.
They're going back to one. Yeah. So how many times do we think he has made them do this? And is the scene changing every night, or are they perfecting this one event?
Great question. Yeah, got to get, and it makes sense that they maybe are perfecting it, because as we see, when we get to the end of the scene, we see Mr. One Eye start to applaud him. He's like, no, you got to stay in character. You're the villain. He's like, oh, yes, right.
Oh, right.
Foiled. Me. So they probably keep doing it because he wants it to feel like it's really authentically coming from them, even though, again, they're just doing what he wants them to do.
Silly.
it's such a weird disconnect to witness, right? Because again, clearly you've given everybody these initiative and commands based on this idea. And to answer, I think you had a question about like, are they actually recreating one of the scenes from James Bond? I think what I saw was that it is more of a paraphrhrase because it said that they're taking certain parts from Casino Royale and from Thunderball.
Yeah, okay.
So those are the two, they're smushing together.
That's what I thought. I was like, it's the essence of a film for sure, but I don't know them well enough to know if this is straight out of a specific one.
Yeah, I had the same thought. I was like, wait, I was like, I don't watch James Bond enough to know if this is an exact replication of a scene. And again, I wonder if it started there, right? Where it's like, let's recreate Casino Royale. But then it's like, well, I kind of want it to just be Casino Royale and whatever else, right? So let's just like give you guys your character directions and then let's just let it live. You know, I don't know. It's Diabati is being such a weird, like, art imitating life, imitating art type of thing with his life right now, right? Like he wants all the things that he grew up seeing in artifice to just become his reality. Yeah. And again, there's clearly a disconnect and we'll see a little bit of that later when we get to that scene. But it's got to be so interesting in his head because I'm like, are you really loving this? Is this really fun? Or is it just a way to fill time? You know?
Right. I was like, I feel like you're very empty on the inside, sir.
You have to be. Because again, it's not like these people are genuinely coming up with this. They aren't running to you to be like, oh, my God, we know you love Casino Royale and we decided to come up with a whole casino night for you and we're all going to play the part. It's him having to enact all of this. And they're just like, absolutely, if that'll make you happy, sure, we'll do it. And that's got to be weird because in one way you're getting what you want, but you have to make people give you what you want. Right. You know? And so it's not genuine. Yeah. I also laughed when he was asking people to join him and the two guys behind the henchmen behind Mr. Eye Patch were like, yeah, I want in. Yeah. I'm in. And he's like, no, not you. Yeah. So I guess no experimenting for Mr. Diabati because I was like, if he wanted to, he could easily be like, let's give it a whirl. But clearly he's like, I know what I like. You're good.
Not pan. Yeah.
Not into it. Thank you though, but no. So I did find that funny. The other thing that bugged me when it was time for them to clean up, I was like, get a broom. You don't have to pick it up with your hands.
Oh, yeah. The broken glass.
I know you can try to get the big chunks, but you're in a big hotel that I'm sure has plenty of like appropriate cleaning. You don't need to do the hand pickup thing. Why? And how many times do you have to pick up broken glass a night, every day, daily, whatever, because y'all are doing that scene? Right. Why? It's a nitpick, but why? You don't need to. Yeah. Silly.
Yeah. We both had a note about the hot tub. When the first time, at first I thought that they paused. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, same.
Pause was a reaction to their pause because it was actually very subtle that they all went in the hot tub. So I thought, oh, that poor woman, you invited her in. You invited the old lady in, saw her old lady body and said, oh, yeah, that's what I thought. And then when they started to apologize, I said, oh, they're apologizing because they got it wrong. They sent the wrong lady. Yeah. But then they continued on and it was like, no, Carol's coming. Yeah. And then on, repeat watch, I was like, oh, they paused. And then he noticed it and was like, why are you pausing? That was his pause. Right. But at first I was like, that's up. You're the one that invited her. What did you think her body was about to look like?
He said, I said no uggos. But yeah, I did have that same thought the first time through. And in my mind, that's how I remembered it playing out. So then when I watched it again this time through, I was like, oh, no, they're all freezing, including Joette, because they're all getting the memo. Yeah. And it didn't read that way the first time. So yeah, on a subtle first watch, it does feel like he's kind of like, actually, I just want not you. And then it makes sense because the other thing I thought the first time through was when they all left and she was still there. And he's like, Joette? Like, then it was like, okay, well, now you can come because the other girls are leaving. I'll take something. That's better than nothing. That's what I thought the first time. But then it was more like, oh, do you have to go too? And she's like, yep, me too. So I was like, all right, well, Diabati, at least he's not ageist. He said anybody can get it except for men. He's not. Yeah. Except for dudes. Right. But he said, old, young, I'll take you. If you're a good time, you're a good time. So in one respect, I was like, all right, hey, get it. But yeah, the other thing that caught me about the hot tub scene, which is just silly, but I was just like, man, that's some real strategic bubble placement. Because all them
Yeah.
girls got out the tub and not one nip slip
One.
anywhere. They were all
Yeah.
very specifically. And so then it made me wonder, I was like, did they give them like pasties or bras that have suds attached to them so that when they got up,
Probably.
they would make sure that everyone kind of had coverage in the right places? Because I was like, there's no way they could have like piled
Probably.
suds on in the tub and it just stayed there. So I'm
Yeah.
curious, on a art director
Yeah.
costuming level, what did they use that looks enough like real bubbles but clearly sits correctly and doesn't move? Because it didn't slip. So I was like, what are they using? Is that some kind of glue? Is there something you can get to recreate suds that don't move? I'm very curious. I wonder if who would be able to answer that question? Kat would, if we
should
could,
be like,
if we could.
this is not your show,
But what
can you tell
what
us
would
how
you
you would
use?
do it?
How would you get suds to stay? What's the trick? I was like, this is the silliest thing for me to hone in on, but I truly was like, how are they getting these suds
Yeah.
to stay? And it wasn't,
Well-
again, like they were all the same type of bra or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, that is interesting. Someone had to be very specific in whatever they created, designed,
Right.
so that.
And I know just with like actual bubble bath, there's definitely like higher quality bubble bath, right? Like you can put soap into the tub and it's not going to be moldable stuff like you can make
Interesting.
your bubble mustache and all your stuff, right? But if you get like if I get Mr. Bubble for my kids' bath,
I guess that's
some
true.
good high quality bubble.
I guess that's
those
true.
suds
Do they still
stay
make
for a long
Mr.
time
Bubbles?
and they're buildable. Yep. I had to order it online, but they do. Good bubble bath.
It is. Listen, Mr. Bubbles, I don't know what they put in their suds, but those suds.
Right. So yeah, I'm like, all that to say, I don't know the science behind it, but it is possible that they just have like some maybe felt or something that it would grip onto well, and then it's actual bubbles. I don't know.
That would make sense, I guess. Yeah, if there was a felt type of something. Huh. Anyway, we'll never know. But I just remembered, because I was like, surely somebody's gonna like boob pop out. But I was like, no, everybody's is perfectly in place. The heck are they using? The heck are they using to keep everybody? Because I was like, that's some like, they said we got to get past the sensors and can't nobody slip. So what can we make to make sure every areola of every type is covered up? But what was funny too, the first girl, the one that was laying in the back of the tub too, clearly had to do some very strategic arm choreography when she got up.
Right.
To make sure
Yeah, because she
didn't get no suds.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about it when you say the sensors? This is so silly what I'm about to say, but it's a genuine question. How much booty is too much booty?
I
Right?
have that question as well.
So I'm wondering, I was like, is it okay because they like never panned up and you never saw her crack? It was just the profile of her butt.
But okay, well now I've got to think, because I was like, but I'm pretty sure we did see crack.
Oh, did we?
Two of them, but I'm not sure. See, this is.
I was like, genuine question.
Genuine question.
I was like,
I am.
huh.
But I do wonder if there is a crack ratio. Like we can do some half butts and then one full butt.
Right.
But that's enough with the butts. I don't know.
Enough. That's any more butt than that, then you get a different rating.
I wasn't paying enough attention for that to catch that ratio of like, is it 1 to 4? Funny. Is it 2 to 3? Like, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That is interesting. I'm not sure. I'm sure there is some censorship rule where they were like, okay, she can be in profile. This one can actually turn and face, but the rest of you got to walk away in profile. We can't have no more cracks. I don't know that. Yeah. What? But it's silly because it's like, clearly they're all naked. So how?
Right.
So how? But I don't know how censorship rules work.
But yeah, like if this was on HBO and not Apple TV, we would have gotten all the movies.
Full bush, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. So yeah, very different. Okay, I think that's it. We can end on that. All right. Is it me?
No, it's me.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, HDP. Here we're getting into the HDP. So, Carol drives down the strip until she arrives at the West Gate, where Mr. Diabate is staying, and the marquee blinks, "Welcome, Carol." She then walks through the casino and all of the games are flashing, but it's completely empty. There's nobody in there. And then another sign in the casino tells Carol to rendezvous at the Verona Sky Villa on the 30th floor. So once she arrives to the penthouse, Mr. Diabati confirms that the others told him she was coming, but he stayed to greet her, to welcome her. And then Carol asks for a TV so she can show him why she came. And he asks, "Is this another one of your videos?" And Carol is surprised to learn that they actually have been sending the videos, the people actually have been receiving them. So Carol starts like, as she's trying to connect everything, she's starting to like hype Mr. Diabati up and prepare him for the disturbing footage that she is about to show him. But then he interrupts her to ask, "Is this about them eating people?" And so shocked, Carol is like, how could you know about this? And Mr. Diabati says, um, I asked them about, I'll tell you, let them tell you, right? And turns on the TV, and John Cena has pre-recorded a video to tell Carol directly. And so he explains all of the eating peopleness of it. And he recaps for her, like, as you know, we cannot harm any life. And then he adds on, like, this also includes plant life. He says they cannot pluck, they cannot harvest any vegetables, they can collect fallen fruit, and they can also like tend to livestock as it's needed, right? So they can milk a cow when a cow needs to be milked. They can collect eggs that are laid, right? But and they can also access all of the food that has already been produced and packaged like prior to the joining happening. However, this is still a problem because as of the video, there are 7,348,292,411 members of the join. So they are facing a caloric deficit. This has led them to create a shelf-stable liquid that is comprised of local stockpiles, so that varies depending on where you are in the world, particularly the food that is at more imminent risk of spoiling, and 8 to 12% of HDP, or human-derived protein, which sounds exactly like it is exactly like it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
So this protein comes from the people who have passed naturally or by accident. He's like, there's 100,000 people, however many, whatever. We'll get back to it. Whatever factoid he said.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then the video ends with a reminder to Carol that like her well-being is of the utmost importance to them. However, they still need their space. So Carol asks how long Mr. Diabati has known about this, and he says, "Last week I asked John Cena what's with all the milk," and he explained it. Right? What's with all the milk? Why you guys drink so much milk? And he's like, "Me and John Cena have been hanging out." And Mr. Diabati thinks the whole thing is troubling, yes, but John Cena makes a good case. Carol points out that they said they were vegetarians before, so what about that? But Mr. Diabati has already had the same thought, and John reminded him that the others said they'd prefer to be vegetarians, not that they are. Mr. Diabati goes on to say that none of us are pleased with the fact that the others are eating people, and Carol is taken aback by the fact that he has been keeping in touch with the other survivors. And so Mr. Diabati says that everyone except for the man in Paraguay, because the man in Paraguay has not been replying to his chaperones. And so Carol asks, what do you 11 others talk about? Because apparently they've been meeting twice weekly on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "You already shot down saving the world, so what could you possibly be talking about?" And Mr. Diabati says, "Well, in a way, that is what we're talking about, because we're trying to figure out how to help the others, because most of the world's population is going to starve to death within the next 10 years if they continue at this rate, and we want to help save them." So Carol then asks if they ever thought of including her in the Zooms, and Mr. Diabati informs her that they took a vote, and the majority, not unanimously, but the majority felt her presence may be disruptive. And then he also added on there that perhaps the people who don't speak English felt offended by missing your invitation to meet in Spain. That's a whole lot of information Carol just got.
That is a large download. That's true. All right. So the extension of my thought from the previous scene here with Diabati's whole make-believe land, right? I was like, I'm surprised for Diabati being who he is and how he is, that he doesn't just want Vegas to feel like full-on Vegas. Like, I'm surprised there's no people on the street walking around. There's no, like, nightlife happening elsewhere. Like, what if I want to look out the window and just, like, see the strip just, like, littered with people and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm surprised Because I was like, I would think, and maybe, again, maybe he's not bored enough. Maybe they haven't run the scenario enough that
Mm-hmm.
Diabati would be the type that would want the city to feel alive the way Elvis, like it was when Elvis was going around and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, I'm kind of surprised it's just quiet on the streets and that he hasn't gotten more of the join to be like,
Yeah.
can we have like, people in the casino so when we come down and I have my harem, everybody's there and da da da. And, when I look out the windows, can there just be people that's always walking and going in and out of casinos? Because I wanted to, I'm surprised that
Yeah.
he isn't taking more advantage of wanting it to feel like a real living
Right.
city as opposed to just where he's at.
Yeah.
With the fact that he had those extra rooms with people doing stuff. And it's like, well, why not have the hotel?
Yeah.
Why not have the strip?
It makes me wonder though, Rodnesha, because that's a really good point, and I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't put it past him to ask that. It makes me wonder if he was already doing that, and what we see is
Is
just
everyone
them
just
gone,
cleared
right?
out
Because
by
they
that point?
left.
That's
They
true.
left because Carol, because everything is on. All the
That's true.
lights are on.
And I did notice that
Even
as well.
the noises and the music and everything, all of the games are running as she walks through the casino,
Mm.
right? So it's like they left in a
That
hurry.
is a good point. You do make a good point. It may have been that way because we didn't see outside of his room what
Yeah,
was happening in Vegas until after everyone decided they were leaving. So yeah, it could have been
yeah,
because I wouldn't put it past him honestly to be the type that just wants
yeah,
full ambiance everywhere. Whether because again they'll do
yeah.
whatever you ask. So him going to Vegas, if he wants to feel like Elvis, King of Kings and whatever or whatever, not King of Kings, but the King. Then I would think he'd probably want to feel like, yeah, when I go, racing around in my Lamborghinis, I want people to see it and be like,
Hmm.
wow, that just feels
Yeah,
like the big vision Diabati. So I
yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if that would be his request while he's there. But I guess we won't know because all the join has said, see ya.
Bye, Carol.
We need space.
Yeah.
And then I had to make sure that, because when I saw Carol coming, I was like, once again, she knows exactly where to go. And I was like, I guess Diabati did say he was going to go stay in Elvis's penthouse suite. So
Of
if
this
you
penthouse.
know
Yeah.
Elvis stuff, then I
Yeah.
guess you would know that's the Westgate Hotel. But I was like, man, Carol's got a good memory because I'd be like, okay, I know he said he's staying where Elvis is, but where the heck is that? I don't know
Yeah.
offhand. I guess you could maybe go
Yeah.
look it up somewhere, but again, no internet. So hopefully there's some history books that talk about Elvis and where he stayed. Or again, she's just a writer and maybe
Yeah.
she just.
Just a fun trivia factoid, I guess. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's, I did look it up.
I did
It
too.
wasn't called the Westgate
Hmm.
Gate when he stayed there.
Yes, it's
Um,
been through like two or
but
three name changes, I think.
yeah, it was the International Hotel when he stayed there, but he
Hmm.
was there for 3 years for a residency, and that was
Apparently, yeah, it was the
his penthouse.
International, and then it became the Las Vegas Hilton for a little bit,
Yeah, yeah.
and I guess now it's
And
Westgate.
as of right now, it goes for 20K a night.
Well, when you've got the joined on your side, who needs cash? That's crazy. 20K a night. I also
Yeah.
looked up because I was trying to figure out if it's the exact same suite that Elvis had, or if the suite, like if you were to stay in Elvis's suite now, would it look exactly the way it did when he was there, or have they changed it? And
Oh,
the
yeah.
information I saw said
Yes
that
and
they've
no.
actually broken up that suite into several different smaller suites. So if you were to stay there now, it wouldn't look the same, and they've changed the
Yeah, it's not
size.
the whole penthouse. You
Hmm.
can't get the whole thing. Yeah.
So then that made me wonder, based on what we're seeing, did Diabati have the join go in and be like, I want this to look exactly like Elvis's suite? Because I guess compared to what they're saying they look like now, it doesn't have all the like gilt columns and all that old kind
Yeah,
of like old timey Vegas look the way the room does now. So I wonder if they refurbished it to look the way it did
probably.
for Diabati's pleasure. And
Probably. And they probably did it all before he got there. You know what I mean?
gosh, that's true.
They probably did it when he was on that plane that Carol dramatically stopped.
Or the whole time
That's
that
when
they
they
were
were
in
doing
Spain,
it.
because he probably
Yeah.
already had plans, and then they got.
He's like, that's where I'm going. Yeah.
He's like, while I'm here, you guys take care of the penthouse, get it ready for me, and then I'll be there as soon as I deal with this lady. I also
Uh,
loved. Wait, go ahead before.
oh, I was gonna say, just with the fanciness of the penthouse, I was
Hmm.
like, there's a seat in the elevator. I've never seen this. Did you notice that?
I don't think I noticed that.
There was like a chaise lounge in the elevator when she got out and arrived at the
Why?
penthouse. And I was like, it just made me laugh because I was like, just think about like hotels is people's reactions to hotels is how you can one way you can very quickly tell like
What kind
what
of money
like
they've got?
income bracket somebody is in, right? Because they have, ooh, this is nice,
Right.
right? And I was like, there's a seat in the
And I'm over here like, why? Versus a rich person who'd be like, I went to one hotel that had 3 chaise lounges in the elevator, one for each of us. That is kind of funny. That's so unnecessary. I mean, I guess maybe not
It
fully
is.
unnecessary if you've had a long night and your feet are killing you, but like, it's the
I'm
elevator.
like, I mean, it's the 30th floor. I don't know if that means it's a long elevator.
I suppose so.
You
I
guys,
guess that could be a long ride.
if you've been on the casino floor drinking, it's a
Although
long
some of those
ride. I don't
elevators
know.
be shooting up to the top. I
Yeah,
remember
that's
one
true.
hotel that
That's
I went
true.
in and I was like, good God, am I on a roller coaster? I hate
But
this.
this is an older
That's
hotel. Who
also
knows
true.
if it's not been how much renovation has gone
True,
through? I don't
true,
know.
true. I was gagged when Diabati is talking to Carol and she realizes that he got the videos and she's like, they sent them to you? And he's like, oh yeah, I've watched them. They're, very good, very dramatic. And I was like, there it is. There it is. Just saying in the opener.
It, it's so funny because that reaction to me just reiterates what I asked when we first talked about her recording the videos, which
Hmm.
is like, why does she presume that she is the first to know these things
Hmm.
when she is the one that's not talking to them, right? Like, I'm like, Carol, it's so presumptuous for you to be like, oh, I'm gonna tell them because I know they just watch these videos like this dummy just figured this out.
She approaches it like she's a journalist for Dateline. She's like, you guys don't even know what's happening in your neighborhood. Like it's like I'm gonna fill you in. Yeah, and definitely is assuming they haven't asked or done any investigation on their own. But at least it's entertaining for Diabati. He finds them charming, at least.
Right.
So when they're talking and they're giving each other kind of the download of stuff, and when he finally gets to where he was like, yeah, I asked them about the HDP, and he said, I had, if you press them long enough, something like that, about they finally told him that it was human remains, but it was after
Yeah.
he kind of had to push them. So I found that interesting because I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, so even with Diabati, they aren't willing to be so fully transparent, right? They're still trying to
Yeah.
hold some cards close to the vest, even with him. So it is funny that he still has to kind of do the same routine that Carol does, where it's like, well, okay, let me ask it a different way. Okay, well, let me come at it from a different angle. Let me keep digging. I'm going to get my answer. He just, I guess, knows how to do it in a way
Yep.
that's a little more amicable compared to
Yeah.
Carol. But I think the first watch through, it read like they just like Diabati so much that they're willing to just tell him whatever he asks. So I didn't
Mm.
catch the fact that it wasn't like on the first ask they told him exactly what was going on. It was like, oh, they probably told, oh yeah, it's HDP. HDP, what's that? Oh, it's a protein source that helps us be sustained. Oh, what kind of protein? Mammalian, like cows. Like I could see it being that kind of
Yeah.
conversation. But I think on first watch, I thought that maybe they just straight up said like, yeah, it's human protein. We're eating people, drinking people,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I found that interesting. That even Diabati
Well,
isn't so charming that they just are fully off their rocker, right?
yeah. So related to that,
Uh-oh.
you bring up cows.
I had this thought too.
So they mentioned like they said like I forget, but they said 100,000 people
Yes.
die from
Hmm.
natural causes um or by accidents
Yeah,
daily.
accidents. Hmm.
So if that many people die daily,
Hmm.
and people generally have a longer life expectancy than most animals, they can't also be collecting the dead animals to do this with.
I had the same thought. I had the same thought. Because I was like, well, now wait a minute. If you can be processing people, can't you also be processing other animals that are just dying, old age, natural causes, whatever? I'm sure there's
Right.
residuals of that too that happened amidst all
Right.
this.
Right. Yeah. And then I didn't write this down because it's just coming to me.
Hmm.
I don't fully follow their logic. I feel like they could get around their harvesting rule for certain things because certain things need you to prune them and need plants need you to prune them and need you to harvest to
For them
keep
to,
them
yep. Hmm.
right.
Yep.
If not on the level of like farming for people, but like animals would do that process if humans weren't doing it,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
For certain things. So I feel like there's you not you could justify milking the cow. I think you can justify harvesting certain things in the same way you can justify milking the cow. like it's needed for the plant.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just like, I don't know that you guys have thought all of this through. I think
No.
you jumped to
Also,
the HDP a little too quickly.
very quickly. Also, eggs as a protein source too. I was like, they keep saying they're vegetarians, which means you could have unfertilized eggs. That's not harming birds to collect, right? Can't
Well,
that be
they
part
said
of?
they can collect the eggs,
Okay, okay.
but you know what? That doesn't make sense to me either because, like, well, no, right? You said unfertilized.
I
I
was
was
like,
like,
you'd have to make sure they're unfertilized
the
eggs, but
unfertile. They'd
that
have
should
to make sure they're
still,
unfertilized.
yeah,
If
yeah.
they're not, if they're fertilized, then they can't
But then
take
I
them.
guess the problem there is we aren't farming animals anymore, so then we've got to go find the birds and the eggs, I assume.
Well, they make it sound like they're doing that
Oh, well then wait a minute.
because they said like, oh, we can also get, we can also do these things that these aren't harming the animals. We're not going to slaughter a chicken, but we can take the eggs. We can milk the cows.
Now, PETA would disagree with that practice
Uh-huh.
because they would say any, you know, imprisonment or whatever of an animal is harming it
Mm-hmm.
because you're not allowing it to live its full and
Right.
free life. So then what is the definition of harm?
Right. Right. So I do believe that they have like people just out like following chickens around, following cows around. Like I do. I think that's what they're doing in there. But they're saying like even all of that is not enough to feed the world. Okay, fine. If you're following those animals around, then you can find the ones that died of natural causes.
Now, here's an interesting thought experiment. If you were looking to get around it, I guess if you're unjoined who are still on the earth, if they were to go up to one of the joined and say, I want all of you to eat all the things that we eat. That is what would make me happy. I want you to pick apples off trees. I want you to eat a steak. Would they all have to do it?
Well, no, because we saw in Spain that that was the reason why they didn't give Diabati lobster was because they tried to source frozen lobster that was already dead,
So they
and they
can
couldn't.
put up the
So they just
guardrails.
didn't give it. Yeah. So they're like, that one goes against our rules, so we can't
So
keep
not
it.
everything that makes me happy.
Right.
Again, these dumb rules don't make no
But
sense.
again, what's worse? Giving Carol an A bomb.
Right. Giving Carol an A
or
bomb or access to a
cooking a
pharmacy
lobster.
closet where she can get all the drugs she wants. But it's so,
Right?
but I can't pick, God forbid, I pick an apple off a tree. Okay. I'm starting to get like Carol. It's like, this is dumb.
No, yeah, for sure. I'm with Carol 100%. I'm
What is
like
the definition
their
of harm?
logic
Because you
doesn't
guys
make
are real
sense.
flexible on what is harmful and what isn't.
Hmm.
Ugh,
They're super contradictory.
gosh. Anyway, I did also find it a funny catch that Diabati mentioned that the non-English speakers were offended that she didn't invite them to
Yeah.
Spain. And I was like, that's a good point because all the chaperones had to come with them anyway. So you might as well have just had the
Hmm.
full group and then you could have had translators or they could have had translating devices or something just because you might have
Right.
found a common ground with someone who didn't speak English.
Right. Because she didn't want translators, but that's a great point. She could have told them provide us
With
devices.
devices.
You
Mm-hmm.
they easily could have had an iPad and doing Google and translating.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Easily.
Yep.
It was
So
it was it was very white Westerner of
yes, it was.
Carol.
Yes, it was. And she missed that opportunity. It looked like in that moment she kind of kicked herself like, damn,
Damn.
that
Yeah.
was a mistake. That was on me. That
Yeah.
was a little bit of Western arrogance. I should have just, yeah. So
Yeah.
you might have found your next best friend in that group of the non-English speakers, but chose to leave them out.
Yep.
Tisk tisk. So when we get to the end of the scene, and
Well, hold on
wait,
before we
where are
get to
we
there.
at in the scene actually?
So when Carol brings up the vegetarians and Mr. Diabati says, "Oh, John Cena said we would prefer to be vegetarians,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
right? Not that we were vegetarians." Carol
mm-hmm,
says, "Great, so all the fucking lawyers in the world survived." And I
mm-hmm.
said, "Ha ha! That's exactly
That's what
what
we were
I
talking about. That's
That's
right. You did say.
exactly what I
It's like,
said." I'm like, these
got,
motherfuckers,
got all these litigating
they are
minds knowing
just
how to loophole.
so manipulative. And they just wordplay, wordplay, and wordplay.
We
You
called it
can't
early.
trust
Yep.
anything they
Yep.
say.
Good
You can't
catch.
make any assumptions. You cannot Ooh, no. Yeah, you can't take
Mm-hmm.
their words at face value because of that.
And
Like, oh,
that should have
convenient.
been the
Convenient that
moment
they said that.
the first time through that would have got me to catch on to what we find out in the next scene. Cause
Hmm.
that right there is like, oh, they know how to dance around the wording and the phrasing.
Yeah, that is when I will get there, but that is
Yeah.
that wording issue in
Yeah.
the next scene is exactly when I knew what was
The
happening.
only other thing in this point, which I found funny, was I didn't realize this the first time through, was that clearly Diabati has taken this time to have a full on photo shoot. Because his face is everywhere. And I was just
Yeah.
like, this man said, picture it. 1970, no. But he's like, y'all gonna put me all over. It's like, this man straight up had like a Vogue photo shoot. He's over here doing these different poses, and it's like they have the one Carol passes when she's going in the bathroom. There's another one I saw somewhere in the hall. I was like, oh, he was
So funny.
having a time at this photo shoot. I always find it funny. This is just another kind of life tidbit, or maybe just the way rich people are portrayed in movies and TV. But I've always thought it odd to have a giant picture of yourself in your house.
Uh-huh.
Just you, not like a family portrait, just
Yeah.
you in some giant whatever, wearing whatever, looking ornate. Why? Like, to me, that is definite narcissism. Like, I don't need to. Why?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely not something that you did on your own accord for sure. I
Mm-mm.
could see like, oh, this person did this painting for me. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I
Maybe that. Mm-hmm.
yeah, like I don't yeah, I agree. I'm like, it's weird.
I'd maybe if I had some kind of accomplishment or was awarded some special thing. I still don't think it would be a big giant like mural
Right.
on my wall, but I
Right.
might have something there. It's just like, oh,
And if it
celebrating these
yeah,
wins or whatever.
I was gonna say, and if it was something like that, to me, that would be like a room for just
Yes.
that,
Yes.
right? It
Not
would be like,
everyone come into my house
oh,
and look at
that's
me.
where the trophies and the awards and the diplomas and those things are in there with
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. It made me think of white chicks when they go to Terry Crews's house and you see all these like half naked photos of him on like, a bearskin rug or whatever. And I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
I've never understood the inclination to do that if wealthy, when wealthy. And again, I don't know
Yeah.
that actual wealthy, I'm sure actual wealthy people are doing it. They got the trope from somewhere, but like, I don't know how many of them are doing it, but it just seems like such a weird thing, like you said, to just have in your house when
Right.
people come in and it's just like, look, it's me in all my glory.
Yeah.
Take it in. It's
Yeah.
like, what? Okay. All right. That's all I've got. Let's see. Are we ready for stem cells?
Yes.
Everybody say stem cells.
Yes.
Um, so disappointed by this new level of isolation, Carol excuses herself from Diabati and has a moment in the bathroom with one of his portraits. We just talked about it. Mr. Diabati calls the others while she's in there and tells them how he's concerned about Carol. We don't get the full conversation, but we hear him say, but she's lonely. So there's some empathy there. Ultimately, he cannot convince them to return to Carol. He tells them that he misses them and that he'll see them soon before he ends up hanging up. He finds Carol has fallen asleep on one of the many couches in his penthouse suite, and he covers her with a blanket. It's a nice moment. The next morning, when Carol wakes up, we see that Mr. Diabati has made breakfast for the two of them. Mr. Diabati begins eating first, very properly with a fork and knife, and then he stops to observe how Carol is eating her breakfast. We see that she has smashed her avocado into her toast and then piled the eggs on top. And Mr. Diabati, being the empathetic individual that he is, decides to do the same. Maybe he's missing out on something. So, Mr. Diabati then asks Carol what she plans to do next, and she says that she will go find her own suite in the Westgate Hotel, give him a little space because she knows he likes his space, and then they can meet up and talk some more later. In that moment, Mr. Diabati gives a big long pause and kind of looks away as if he is hesitant to say what he's really thinking. Carol picks up on this and realizes that this is not exactly what he wants. So she says, haha, just kidding, joking, gotcha. Vegas isn't my thing anyway. I'm not into it. It's just like one big ashtray. Blah, ugh, who wants to be here? And she tells him that she's ultimately going home. We cut to Mr. Diabati walking Carol out, and he tells her to call whenever she needs him and to check in from time to time. Perhaps she can think of a way to save the others from starvation. That is not her plan. Unnerved by this plea to help the others, Carol tells Mr. Diabati that the way to save them is to turn them back to how they used to be. Carol then points out that starvation will also be their fate once the others figure out how to make them turn as well. Mr. Diabati tells Carol in that moment that they cannot turn them without their consent. They have figured out a way to do it, true, but it would involve tailoring the virus to their individual stem cells, which involves an invasive and painful procedure. Thus, they need their consent. Carol asks when he found this out, and Mr. Diabati says that it's a brand new discovery that they just found out yesterday, and he has already told them that he does not consent to this procedure. Carol runs to the phone to ask the others if it's true they need their stem cells to turn them, and that they need their express permission to do so. As she stands by the phone waiting for a response, Mr. Diabati notices that the others have responded to her in a message on the leaderboard outside. So she goes to the window, and the Westgate marquee says, "That is correct, Carol, on both counts." Carol runs back to the phone, waits through that weird message, and then lets them know that she does not consent, that she does not want them to take her stem cells, and she asks them to repeat it back to her. And the sign reads, "We hear you, Carol. You do not consent. No stem cells will be collected from your body. Your wishes will be respected." Carol and Mr. Diabati go down to the car, and before Carol drives off, he tells her that Zosha and the others miss her. They just need to see a change of heart. Buh. Oof, this scene, so many levels. So many levels. So going back up to the top, all the little moments through like the end of the night with Carol falling asleep and then the breakfast the next day, this is kind of echoing what I brought up in the beginning with Diabati, which is like, clearly there is a hollowness, right? Like clearly there is a difference in engagement with someone who has full free will and autonomy of their own body. And you can see it in the way he connects with Carol. And I also wonder, because of everybody, obviously, he's the only one that's still willing to give Carol some leeway, right?
Yeah.
And he seems to have an understanding that nobody else does. And so part of me is like, do you think that that is because of whatever his past life was? It seems like he has a bit of empathy and understanding for Carol being othered. And maybe that's because he has experienced being othered. Thus, he's a little more willing to, you know, be there and be present and accommodating to her whims and her chaos. Yeah, it's just something that made me think about, again, this backstory, mysterious backstory for Diabati and what his life was like before, that allows him to both want what he wants. He's not willing to surrender this little charade of a life, but also like, I get you. I know you, even though with all the angry white lady, whatever, I get you and I like you, Carol. I don't think you're a bad person. I understand it, you know?
Yeah.
You just got to play the game. You just got to play the game, Carol, is what it feels like. But I did find it funny when he started mirroring her, how she was eating her breakfast. And I couldn't figure out if that, I think the first time I saw that, I was like, oh, does he think that he's eating it wrong? You know, because maybe that isn't a common breakfast where he's from in Mauritania. So is he like, oh, am I supposed to do it this? That's how it read to me the first time. I was like, oh, let me do that too. I know how to eat it, right? Or if he thought maybe he was being too proper. But now I see it as, again, just trying to find some like common humanity with somebody. Like mirroring, you're usually trying to connect with a person when you do that.
Yeah.
So it felt different watching it through this time where it's like, oh, he's trying to like have a common thing with you. Like, yeah, look at us eating our toast sandwich, open face thing. Yeah.
Also, I think by this point, you know, it's almost been 2 weeks of nothing but them mirroring him. And then it's like, oh, here's a moment of somebody doing unexpected, right? Because here's another person with free will. Huh. That's interesting. I'm going to do that too.
Yeah, that's true.
And just, you know, that combined with him just seeming like he wants to try everything, which is what he's definitely doing with the others. It seemed like it was a moment of like, oh, right. When you eat with actual other humans, they don't just do
What you're
everything that
doing.
you do.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's true. Good point. And it was funny too when he kind of took a bite and was like, huh, yeah,
It's good this
I
way.
kind of like it.
Nice.
It's kind of nice.
All right.
It was just such a like quirky, sweet moment to have it ultimately be busted up by the fact that once Carol thought that she'd be able to kind of stay, and then it's such a bittersweet
Yeah.
moment, right? Because Carol's actually having a moment of vulnerability where she's like, you know what, I'm not going to say I want to be around somebody, but I do want to be around somebody. So
Yeah.
I know you need space. I'll just go stay somewhere else in the hotel, and then we can just meet up and hang out and talk. And then the moment where Diabate's like, ugh, about that.
Right. Because
My
it's like,
harem. I miss my harem though.
yeah, I like, I'm being kind because I'm not an asshole, but don't mistake that for like
Me
wanting
surrendering.
this to be, yeah, like you f***ed up and you got rid of all your people, but I want them here,
I
right?
want them back. And they won't come back if you're
Yeah.
here. So, ooh, you gotta
Yeah.
go. And it sucks because again, I think Carol thought that maybe they did connect enough for him to
Hmm.
choose her over them.
Yeah.
And then it was like we're cool, but we ain't cool. We ain't.
Right. Because also, Carol, you gay.
So
Um,
there's nothing with you.
see,
I can't have anything here.
right, like, yeah, if you choose to believe Mr. Diabate in
Hmm.
Spain on day two, by day two, he still hadn't had sex with them, but he definitely fucking these people now.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
Like,
If you
most
believed him the first time, which I
definitely.
did not.
Right.
But yeah, certainly by now, after playing Bond hero night after night, yeah, that we know how that ends. So
No,
Bond
I
ain't
just
going
want to
home
be
alone.
naked next to you in the hot tub, but nothing more
That's it.
because
That's
I'm
all.
respectable. Yeah, right.
So yeah, so it just was like, that sucks. And you could just see the deflation on her face. And it was also such a like schoolgirl moment for her to be like, oh, just, I'm just messing with you. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to be here. I'm just playing. You know me. I got jokes, joshing. I'm just joshing. And meanwhile, just being like, ugh, I gotta go back to that town by myself and be by myself and know that you all are having conversations and parties without me. Like, it was very
Yeah.
like kid at the cafeteria table in school, you know, the one that nobody else sits at. And it's like, oh, Carol. But at the same time, you dug this grave, right? Like, you
Yeah.
kind of put yourself here, which, you know, not saying that you deserve to be like isolated and whatever, but like, what do you expect when you continually, you know, stridently keep people at arm's length or further
Right.
and just kind of alienate people? So, sorry, girl, you got to go back to Albuquerque by yourself. So the next part, when we get to them discussing everything about like the consent and the stem cells and the da da da, and he is like, but it's cool. They have to get permission. They can't just take it from you. And I was like, D-Body, you are too present minded. Like, why aren't you thinking future enough to be like, what are the repercussions though? Kind of like, I think you may have said the same thing of just like, they just told you that in 10 years, everyone will die of starvation. You don't think that includes you? You don't think they're going to try to find some way, other way, even without your consent to get you? Like, I don't see how you're not thinking far enough ahead. Like, you're too caught
Yeah.
up in this little moment of you getting to like play puppet master to think like, well, now wait a minute. This is the way they have
Yeah.
at present, but they've got all the time in the world to figure out another way to get whatever DNA from me, or
And not even that though. Like if we don't figure out how to keep
we're
them
all
from
dying.
starving, when they die, now I have to fend for myself. And I'm like, y'all aren't survivalists. Why do they think that they'll be fine? Like cuz they say like, "Oh yeah, we really want to help them."
But my thing is,
You need to help them to help yourself because even if like Carol said, if you join, you're going to starve too. But even if you never have to join them, if they die, they're gonna stop serving you.
my
Like,
thing
and
though,
then you're gonna have to apocalypse it and start hunting and all of that stuff to survive. You're
my thing though is I
Mr.
feel like
Diabati is not
he
doing that.
would die off before them, only because it's like you have like they, unless you're willing to drink some of that HDP, like you're probably going to start running out of food sources too, again, unless you're willing to go out and start hunting or start a farm or whatever, like I'm thinking, okay, if they're trying to aggregate whatever food resources they can that die off naturally, right?
Mm-hmm.
To ensure their survival. How do you know that they're going to prioritize you in that? You're not one of them.
If he believes them, which he does, because they
Right.
say that they're reserving all of that stuff for him, for them.
For how long?
Right, exactly.
I just was like,
Exactly.
sir.
They're just yeah. I'm like, you guys are dumb. Again, you're believing them too much. They're believing them too much because they quote unquote can't lie. But they're manipulative AF, which is where we get to this part, which I am gonna straight up say, because I know a lot, I know a lot of people didn't put it together.
Yes, but now we can
early,
say yes.
But I put it together this early. So if you are watching episode to episode and you didn't get, I'm gonna give you the revelation. Okay. sorry, not sorry, because it pisses me off, right? It was at this very moment, right, where, and I'll read the whole thing again. Their message says, "We hear you, Carol. You do not consent. No stem cells will be collected from your body. Your wishes will be respected." And I said, from your body. So they're going to collect them they don't need her consent to collect them from her eggs, her frozen eggs. And I was so mad. I was so mad. And then the next few episodes, I'm just like waiting for them to let it slip and tell her.
Yeah. And it's, again, we've already said they can be vague when they want to be, but they were real specific in that response to say,
yep,
all right, we won't take anything from your body.
From your body. Tricky.
And we'll leave it at that. Your wish is our command, right? And then that made me even think for Diabati too. I'm like, you don't think they're trying to figure out where they can get your DNA from somewhere or extract enough of it to like, I guess he doesn't know necessarily about Carol's eggs, right? So we haven't gotten there, right. But I guess it's one of those things that, these people are so determined. He's under this delusion that they're just happy to serve him no matter what, and they'll just do it for all time as long as he says no. They have expressed more than once that they have a biological imperative to get everyone on side, right? So you don't think they're actively trying to figure out another way to do it without your consent?
I feel like on some level he does. If he doesn't, he should, right? We know he should. Because he does say, like, they were very disappointed in my answer when I told them no. Like, he knows that much. Like, they weren't just like, okay, it's fine. They were just like, they clearly tried to convince him.
Like, another part of me is like, this is going to sound gross, TMI, but also, again, that might be why they're allowing it. You don't think they're going to scrape the inside of these uterine walls to get your sperm DNA and try to figure out how to do something with it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They probably already have it. They're probably already working on it.
Or they're just waiting for someone to get pregnant with your baby, which has your DNA. Like, it's just like,
true.
There's any number of ways that can be like, all right, workaround. Cool. Bet.
Yeah.
We don't need your permission. We'll figure it out.
It's going to take a little longer. Yep.
Dumb. I was like, oh, you are not thinking forward enough, sir.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. It's very, very like, and I didn't catch it the first time. On your note, I knew there was something in the way that they were phrasing it. I just wasn't putting two and two together. But I remembered seeing the billboard and being like, something fishy about the way they're responding to her. And how weirdly direct they're being, but also like evasive in a way. I was like, there's something there. So I still wasn't connecting back to that previous scene we got at the Iceland hotel or wherever it was. But but I knew whatever they're saying, that ain't the whole story. So watch out.
Yeah.
Gosh. Anyway, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, because I didn't have that theory before, but I'm like, what if they are waiting for someone to get pregnant with Diabati's baby and then take the stem cells?
Yeah, I wonder if sperm is not enough, if they need
they probably need some type of embryonic cells. But again, once you're pregnant, all that stuff is free flowing.
Yep.
Dumb dummy.
I mean, he's sleeping with them enough.
Yes.
He definitely
and
is.
So many of them. Enough. They have so much opportunity.
Right. Right.
Dummy.
I wonder, though, if they are, well, maybe not. I wonder if until, let's say they have this plan now. I wonder if up until that point they were on like birth control and whatnot, because they can't afford to be making new humans in this world where they're running out of.
But maybe
You
that
know?
is the purpose of the three primaries. Y'all get to be free floating because we, can increase our chances of getting it right with like stem cells with a baby, right? And if blood type or anything like that has to factor in, maybe they're like, you guys get to be off. The rest, oh, now wait a minute. But okay, now this presents another question of like, who's producing birth control so that people can keep population control under wraps? Also, going back to the question about babies and kids, where are these babies and kids?
They're in a nursery somewhere, just being watched, just being taken care of.
What's to say they don't just let these babies just like be somewhere? It's like, well, if we don't actively take care of them and they don't survive, oh no,
That's
baby
harming
stew.
them.
Is it?
It goes back to the definition of harm. Neglect. Goes back to the
But we
definition of
just but we
harm.
just talked about what does harm mean for them? Because again,
Exactly. That's what I'm agreeing with
oh,
you.
okay.
I'm saying neglect is harmful. They shouldn't be doing that, but
I
maybe
agree.
they don't think that.
I
Maybe they don't think that. Maybe they just got a room full of babies they waiting to die. But babies, a dead baby body is not going to feed as many of them as a dead
no.
human body. So it behooves them to grow them.
Oh God.
And I mean, listen, we already talked about in the previous episode where they referred to them as
As
bodies
bodies.
and not as people. So like, let's be
Yeah.
real. They're growing food at this point if they're making any new humans.
Oh my gosh. This is getting so Soylent Green. This was actually at the end of last week's episode with the reveal before we, with the surprise shock face, right? My first thought was Soylent Green is people. Like I was like, it's people. It's gotta be people. It's gotta be people. So yeah, we've seen that story play out before. Okay, so yeah, we get to the end of that. Carol decides to go back home. They're, giving each other flack about car choices. I was just thinking to myself, where is Diabati taking all these cars when he has people to come and bring him and do whatever he wants for him?
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I guess maybe if you just want to race around.
It's just another scene from a Bond movie.
You're
Him
right.
driving a Lamborghini with a girl.
You're right. You're right. That is another scene that can
like,
play out. Oh my God, James. I mean, Diabati. The wind in my hair. You're right. God. He's just going all over Vegas
driving.
reenacting.
I'm sure he's just driving. Yeah.
You're right.
No reason for it.
You're right. Oh, what a wild imagination you have.
Yeah, and I think we can presume that he's doing it daily. It's one of the many scenes he plays out daily since he has a car for every day of the week.
Yeah, it's true. Who's my Monday lady? Get in. Joette, you can come too.
Lord.
Okay. That's all I got.
Alrighty. I think it's your turn.
Oh, I just read the last one.
You did?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh. I'm tripping. Oh, okay. That's number 5. Okay, I thought it was number 4.
Uh-huh.
My bad. Okay, here we go. Last one. Here we go. Woo. Now we're back to Manusos. Okay, so the clock reads 12 days, 12 hours, 42 minutes, and 28 seconds, and then it rewinds to 3 days prior, 9 days, 18 hours, 16 minutes, 58 seconds. So we find Manusos is still checking his radio scanner with his notebook and his kitchen timer. He's up to the 9 point whatever's on his I think the first time he was only on like 2 or something. So he's been doing this for 9 days straight. He's getting through like a frequency a day or whatever. And after checking a couple of frequencies, he takes a moment and he flips back in his book to a few pages prior and finds a number that he didn't cross out like the other numbers. This one is 8.613.0 and it has a question mark by it. So he turns the radio back to that frequency and he listens, and there is an odd repetitive clicking sound. He closes his eyes, he tries to concentrate, but he still can't place what the sound is, and he only ends up marking another question mark by the number. So then outside, the others leave him another plate of food, and he goes out to knock this plate of food over too. But then he notices that this time there is a package, and the package is Carol's first video. So he goes back inside and he plays the tape, and Manusos is clearly moved by Carol's efforts. It's very convincing if you don't know what all the
Yeah,
other people
that's
know,
true.
right? um, and so he's surprised that there's 12 others, and he's just like, he's all ears, he's enthralled, right? And he
Hmm.
tears the address off of the package, Carol's address off of the package, and he places it in his notebook. And then he finally leaves the storage facility. He has a crowbar with him. So he walks down the streets, and he's stopping a few times because he hears some noises that makes him think that he is being followed. Clearly, the others are watching him. And he goes back to his house. And when he enters, he calls out to make sure that there's no one there. He's like, if anybody's here, you better get the F out. And nobody is there. He immediately goes to his kitchen and inhales some leftover food that's in his fridge. And then he begins packing. So he goes down to the garage, loads up his two-seater car, and then heads out, but the engine dies before he can even fully get out of the driveway. So as he's tinkering around with that, his mother walks up and begins speaking him, calling him son. It's good to see you. Can we help you? She says, you must be hungry and confused, and asks if he has any questions for him. And then Manusa says, stop calling me son. You're not my mom. My mom was a bitch. And then he gets back in his car. He gives his car a push to get going. He gets back in it. It starts his time, and he drives off.
Hmm. So first thing with the clock, this is, I think, where I
Uh-huh.
started realizing that it was like going back and forth depending on different people's like different, the
Yeah,
clock is different for the person that it's tracking.
it's
Um,
tracking. Yeah, 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 yeah.
and so I was like, okay, so this is now, we're 9 days out back on
Yeah,
Manusos.
yeah.
My first question, what
Mhm.
has Manusos been eating for the last
Uh-huh.
6 days?
Right. Because
Or
on
at
day
least 3 days,
three, he
right?
already didn't have
Right.
anything.
Because I'm like, that was where we last saw him, right? Was day 3, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I was
Uh-huh.
like, okay, you was sucking on margarita mix and sugar packets and really struggling, and you look pretty okay. You don't look like you're slumped over like, God, I don't have any energy. What have you been
Uh-huh.
eating? Are you just
Right.
surviving on water? Which is doable. You can go like at least
Yeah.
7 days on just water, but that was my first question.
Well,
How
so maybe Carol's video came right on time for him.
before
You know what I mean?
he's like, this
Maybe
is a
he only
perfect
had a
chance for
couple
me to
days left,
get the F out.
right? Maybe he only had a couple days left.
Thought I was going to die here.
Um, yeah.
So,
Or they're watching, which I'm going to pose a question here. Even I kind of know the answer, and I will bring it back up in the next episode.
oh,
But
yes.
I'm wondering, like, if they're watching him, they're waiting, they're still trying to contact him, they're attempting to contact him. So if something happened to him and he passed out and whatever,
Mm-hmm,
would they
mm-hmm,
come in and
mm-hmm,
intervene and save him?
mm-hmm,
Right.
mm-hmm.
So I think that was the question I had, like, the first watch through was like, if he like passed out because he's close to starvation right now, would they know, or would they come in and help him?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. They've
connect
got
him
to
to an
be
IV.
keeping tabs somehow. I mean, we
Yeah.
already know that Carol has experienced that if you're outside, they
Hmm.
clearly have drones and stuff that are able to
Right.
clock them on a camera. So,
Yeah.
and then I don't know if there's like security cameras inside of the storage place that they can hack into and
Yeah,
that
I don't
way, who
know.
knows? I'm sure they've figured out some ways to kind of get inside and see. But I guess, yeah, would they actually intervene? Who knows?
Yeah.
So, all right, on this radio frequency,
Yeah.
are we thinking that this is the same sequence signal that kicked this whole thing off? I know that that
Hmm.
wasn't a radio wave that they were picking up, it was some other
Right.
kind of signal wave. But then my question is, now that the others are here and have obviously infiltrated the planet, is that signal, are they using radio waves now to send that signal out again?
Other places? Oh,
Maybe.
maybe. I I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I have no theories about this. I was just trying to figure out what the sound sounded like.
Hmm.
Um,
I think at first I was
it
thinking
does like
like Morse code kind of clicking, but then that's what
it
made me think, oh, they thought that originally when they first picked up the sequence, and then they realized that it was like,
they were wrong.
yeah.
And it doesn't like follow the same pattern. So it does like it does a slower click, and then it picks up and goes da 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 da, and then it repeats.
Mm,
And the quicker part sounds like It makes me think like it's somewhere where there's some sort of generator or something.
Hmm.
Because the clicking part sounds like when there's something in a fan or
Mm-hmm.
like a baseball card and
Yeah, the little
bicycle
prrr,
spokes.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm like, what is that? I don't know.
Hmm.
But I also don't know why it slows down and then picks back up and then it slows down and then it picks back up. I don't know.
Yeah, there's clearly some kind of rhythm to it. I just can't figure out, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
who it's being signaled to and what it's for. Yeah, but that
Well,
this
yeah,
time
and
through
like
I thought about it and I was like, "Oh, wait, is this maybe the same signal? Like are the others
right.
already thinking we got to figure out in case we need to offload this planet how to get to the next
Yeah.
life
And
form planet?"
honestly, at this point, I think because of what we know later, I think it is some kind of signal. But like at this present time, I was like, I'm not even sure if it's signaling anything. I
Mm,
think it could just be a radio somewhere, like trying to
mm,
figure out where this is.
mm-hmm.
Who is transmitting something? Where are they?
Do you think it's another
It's like
person?
it's like background noise
Do you think it's
somewhere.
someone that's like another non-joined that's maybe trying to use the radio?
I don't know.
I'm
I
just
don't
throwing stuff
know,
out there.
right? Because I feel like if it were me, I would be like, this could this could just be like, let's not get our hopes up about this because this could literally just be like somebody somewhere left their radio on
Mm.
next to a broken fan. You know what I mean? Like that's genuinely what it sounds like. So I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know. I
Hmm.
mean, he really trying to figure it out, but I don't know. But it also seems like he hasn't heard any noises
No.
at all,
Right.
right? Like for
Right.
him to write a question mark down by that means he has not heard even a peep, a beep,
Right.
nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the only thing that makes me think that it's not what I was saying as far as it being the same signal that they pulled from outer space is the
Mm-hmm.
fact that it's just through radio, and I don't think radio waves travel that far or that long. So it would just be within a certain radius or distance, right? If you're using radio, right? Because you need different radio
Yeah,
towers to be able to cover a certain amount of space.
yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's got to be more local to whatever, wherever
Right.
those radios can pick up that signal. It can't be
Yeah.
worldwide, right? Um, so yeah, I'm curious. Hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, to be continued if it
Well,
comes back up, which I'm sure they aren't just bringing it up for nothing. So
right. Of course.
it's got
Yeah.
to come back.
Okay. So then let's re-talk about this food and houses question that you had the
Oh
first
yeah.
time we talked about Menusos, right? Because he gets to his house and there
Yes.
is still food in the fridge, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the others haven't collected that. So I was just
No.
thinking like, okay, so are they like, we're just gonna take the food from the houses where we know somebody like, oh, this person has um a bunch of canned food in their pantry. We're gonna take that. Or this person has they have a extra freezer in their garage that has a bunch of meat in it. We're gonna take that, and they're not worried about like Manuso's individual leftover dinner from 3 nights ago. Like,
Maybe.
or
Yeah.
or did they only leave Manusos's house because they thought at some point he's gonna come
Come
back
back.
here?
Yeah. That's what I don't know. Because again, that was my question earlier with Carol's neighborhood and whether it was like
Yeah.
because of the immediacy of her asking them to leave, nobody bothered to offload the fridges in that little cul-de-sac, but maybe everywhere else they're taking
Mm-hmm.
food? Or is it just like, this, to me, I would think you'd want to collect everything, but then I'm like, or are they thinking this is so minor in the grand scheme of like food
Yeah.
sources that, most of the stuff is probably going to be perishable and gone in a few days?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I would think,
Yeah.
yeah, like canned goods and stuff would be something you'd want to try to collect. Yeah, I hope they're smart
Yeah.
enough to be collecting
I
from other
mean,
houses.
having had this conversation and then watching this again after that, I was like, oh, so they are just leaving people's individual houses alone. But then I was like, no, 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 no. Because they probably only left Manusos's.
Yeah.
Manusos's.
Manusus? Yeah. I hope that's
Possession when words end with S.
yes, yeah.
It's tricky.
Um, I hope that's what they did. That would be the smart thing to do if you are in
Yeah.
a food deficit.
Right.
But then again, maybe they're like, but we always got people, so eh.
Right. We're eating people. It's fine.
It's fine. This
We
ain't the
don't eat
only
this
game in
leftover
town.
spaghetti. Ridiculous.
um,
What are they doing to it to make it shelf stable? I just thought about that too. Can't be
for the
this shit
HDP,
can't be the healthiest. Yeah.
I mean, given that it's like a greasy liquid type of thing, I don't imagine. So there must be some kind of preservative things they're putting in there
There's
to
gotta
keep it.
be a ton of preservatives
They're
in it.
basically drinking olive oil. So like, I don't know. I, I,
Oh
I,
man.
I had that question actually earlier on the episode. I was like, I wonder, like, we know obviously it's people, but I wonder how they came up with the chemical composition necessary, like you said,
Hmm.
because they must have had to take into account we need it to last, we need it to be shelf
Hmm.
stable, we need it to still be nutrient dense, we need it to be portable, right? Like, I mean, but then when you have all the greatest chemist minds at your disposal, I'm sure it wasn't
Hmm.
that hard to come up
Hmm.
with a
And how they
formulation.
landed on only 8 to 12% of it is from people. The rest is just other food that they
I mean,
ground
they
up.
must have come up with a calculation based on, again, what is available to them. Like, okay, now that's
Yeah.
when mathematicians come into play. It's like, all right, if we've got X amount of available food, protein sources from here, and we have this many humans, but we don't want to burn through them super fast, like, what percent do we need it to be human? And offset by what percent of other protein sources? like clearly, that was probably during
Ridiculous.
those early days of, before they did the mass joining, right, of trying to figure out what the source is going to be, because I'm sure they were already looking at the math of how many people are on earth. Okay, before we join all of them, how are we going to feed ourselves? Like, that had to be part of those early
Listen,
conversations.
when Carol killed a bunch of people, she helped them out,
She sure did. They probably were like, let her go off, let her go
right?
off.
She killed
Better
them.
better her than me.
She gave them a bunch of food and gave them a lot less mouths
They
to
said
feed.
that just set us for 10 years instead of 8. We thought we had less time before. Thanks, Carol.
Terrible. Oh, terrible.
Um, um,
Well, back to Manusos.
okay, yes. So Mama's
So,
here.
yeah, I had this other question. I was like, why would they use his mother? Why would they use his mother when they know they don't have a good relationship? And then that begs the question again that we already asked, but what is his like? Is there really not anybody else, right? Is he like a Carol where she really didn't have anyone else that they could
Mm-hmm.
use, that they could potentially weasel in there because it's a familiar, trusting face?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
What's going on in his life?
I would love to know because he very much seems like a lone wolf type. But then at the same time, we haven't gotten to this yet. But I don't think he lives completely in isolation, I'll put it that way. But yeah, it doesn't seem like there's any other familial connections or of the familial connections. It's like, well, they're none of them are great, but at least this is his mom. Like maybe he'll give her a chance because she brought
Right.
him into the world. But, I don't
Yeah,
know.
no friends, no chosen family, nobody.
But this is also very reminiscent of the join to be obtuse to the relationship connections between people, because the amount of times they've tried to approach Carol in ways or in reference to people that they think that she'll receive, and it's like, no, I don't receive that. They don't get it,
But I
right?
think it's because Carol is another hard one without
I
connections,
mean, yes, that's true.
right?
But
Like they
like,
offered to do her cousin who she hasn't seen because they genuinely can't find anybody else,
but
right?
like,
And then like everybody else has family members, even if it's not right, like some of the people
mm-hmm,
lost close family
mm-hmm,
members, but they have extended family members that they tapped,
mm-hmm.
right?
But like, even I guess when they gave Carol that example of like the lady that loved her book, right? And they're like, you know
Mm-hmm.
her, because I guess maybe because they only have her side of it, and that lady probably is obsessive. But you would think that, I mean, even though her Helen is off limits, they still have access to Helen's memories, and you would think that they would know. Carol don't like this lady very much, even though we're trying to use this
Right.
as an appeal to like, this is how we see the through your fans' eyes, and she's like, I hate my
They thought
fans.
the sob story was enough because she
Right.
was
So it seems like they don't fully calculate like the granular parts of or the nuances of like, this may be my fan, but I don't like my fans. I think my fans
yeah.
are crazy. So I don't know with Manusos's mom. Obviously, he says like, my mom was not a good person, and you would know that if you were really her because she sucks, right? So I don't know why they thought she, if they have insight to the relationship from her lens, you would think
Yeah,
they'd be like, I mean, maybe we'd be
that's exactly why I
just,
asked the question.
yeah, I know. I just,
Yeah. So I'm
I
like,
think they
was
just
there really
think,
no one else?
probably not. I mean, or they don't differentiate. I don't know. Maybe for them, one person with a connection is just as worthy as another person with a familial connection. Like, it seems like they just look at it very blanket statement, like, oh, you have husband, kid, dog, da da da. Those are all just connection points that make you happy. So one is as good as any other, right?
It it also seems like I'm pretty sure by this point he already knows that it's been the mom bringing the food.
Mm-hmm.
So even though this is their first time speaking that we know of,
Mm-hmm.
he obviously spoke to somebody on the first day because that's why he's holed up
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
in there, right? But it seems like after like day 2, day 3, you would have tried to send somebody else.
Right. Does he not have a favorite
Well, right?
client
Like
at
mom's
the
not getting
storage
through.
facility? Does he not have a favorite like grocery store
Yeah.
clerk when he goes to the store?
That exactly. I was like, the barista that gives him his coffee every day or whatever, like
Somebody.
some other familiar face because clearly his mom was not working.
Mm-hmm. A resident priest? Something, someone. But yeah, I don't know why they kind of honed in on that. But again, I think they just have kind of a blind spot when it comes to the nuances of people's interpersonal relationships. That's the only thing I can think.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
um,
I don't know.
but yeah, but as far as we know, it doesn't seem like he has any other, at least familial connections. So I wonder if they are going to get into his backstory a bit more so we can know what his life was like before all this took place, or if they're just going to let everything just
Yeah.
exist as it is at present. And the only person we get is like Carol, literally like just days leading up to the joining. I hope they give us backstory.
Yeah.
But
I
I also
know.
wouldn't be surprised if they. Well, no, they because they did a flashback to Carol and the Ice Palace, so they could if they wanted to.
Yeah, we might get more. We might get more later
Mm,
on. I want more about Mr. Diabati too, because I
that
do think he
too,
was like a con man on the streets.
Mr. Diabati is.
Imagine like Aladdin.
Oh my gosh! I
Mr.
mean, but no, but yeah,
And I not to be
no,
like racist in any way,
but that is a
but
parallel.
like it. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like he's charismatic and he's in the
Yep,
markets and he's just scheming on people.
scheming scams. Modern day, yeah. Mr. Diabati, I have come to realize, is the Milchick of Pluribus for me, where I'm like, I gotta know more about this
I
man.
gotta know more. Yeah.
What is this? What is this? What's his life? What is going on? And as we know with Severance, we still, to date, do not have said background on said man. So are they going to drag it out? I guess time will tell. Okay, so we end with Manusos basically telling his mom she can kick rocks and leave him alone.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to get he stuffs his face full of food, whatever he can find in his house. He gets some maps, which that's another thing that I'm like,
That
you
was
just have,
before.
was the maps before the oh yeah, because he was coming out when
Yeah.
he
He was
encountered her.
coming out. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's another thing I was thinking to myself, who has road maps anymore that they just keep
I
on
do.
hand? You
I
do?
mean, and yeah, and people in other, I mean, like, how developed, I'm going to sound so ignorant. How developed is Paraguay? You know what I mean? Like, I
Right,
think
right. I guess my thought is, which I mean, maybe for, yeah, for where he lives, and maybe where he lives in Paraguay may be a more underdeveloped part of Paraguay. I don't know. But I guess that was the first thing I thought. I was like, this is very modern day millennial of me to be like, who keeps road maps anymore? But I was just surprised by the fact that he had so many for each country too.
I am
So,
surprised that you, as an elder millennial, don't have a just in case map.
you know what's funny as you bring that up? I actually had a thought the other day. I don't know why I was thinking of like if I needed to like in an emergency leave. Something must have been on my brain. But I did think to myself, man, I'd have to go somewhere and get a map just in case. I probably should have one as an elder
I was
millennial,
gonna say
but
honestly, my Thomas guide is I probably need to buy a new one so I have a more updated one because
listen,
it probably wouldn't be fully helpful.
Once MapQuest came on the scene, I turned those maps in and never looked back.
You know what? See, I had to keep. Here's the thing. MapQuest, right? Going as a behavior therapist, you drive to many different people's homes, and I distinctly remember when I switched companies and I started working in Orange County, which for those listening, I was driving very far from my house to go to different houses. And it was an area that I did not know. I did not grow up in Orange County. So my mom, as a present, got me a GPS, right? So it was one of the like Garmin ones that you could
big,
suction
huge,
up to your dashboard, right? And so those maps are not always up to date, right? But still have up until that point I was using MapQuest. I had multiple situations where
that Garmin wasn't
MapQuest and Garmin were not accurate because there was construction or something. And so if I did not know, it was like, okay, grateful mommy taught me how to use this Thomas guide because I would bust it out. I would have to bust it out and find where I was on the map and figure out another route to the client's house because I didn't know any of those things to make those choices on my own. So I definitely was still using it heavily.
I mean, let's just say I haven't had a Tom's Guide or an actual like road map since I lived in Texas, for sure. Which I probably need it here more than I would there because I'm less familiar with the landscape here if I needed to like bolt in an emergency. So yeah, maybe I'll go get a map. Maybe I'll go get one and keep it in my glove box just in case. I don't know what made me think of it, but I did have that thought this week where I was like, I must have seen someone in a movie or something pull out a map. And I was like, I think my thought process was, man, do kids know how to use a map? Thank goodness I know how to use a map. Do I need to get a map? Should I have a map just in case? I think that was literally the train. So yeah, I should probably do that. You know, better safe than sorry. Because truly in these type of situations and environments, it's like, I think whatever the precursor was that there wasn't access to cell towers and things like that. So it's like, if I didn't have that, I would need a map to get around or I'm stuck, right? I know enough of my immediate surroundings. Yeah. But if I needed to get out of the city and go elsewhere.
Yeah. That's what the doomsday people always talk about, the EMPs. If the EMP hit and they knock out the grid, what you gonna do? That reminds me, I had a while back, I had like a semi-viral video because this person was talking about, MapQuest and like kids these days won't understand. And so I stitched it and was like, listen, I was supervising somebody. So this was in like 2016 or 2017 or something. I was supervising someone who canceled their full day of clients because their phone wasn't working and they had to get their phone fixed. And I said, well, you can, and I knew full well that when I said MapQuest, she wasn't going to know what it was. So I was like, you can Google the drives from your house to the first client, from between client to client, because this is what I used to do. I said, you could use a website called MapQuest, or you could do this and you can plan your trip and you can print it out and take it with you. And then you could just go ahead and text the parents beforehand that like you don't have real-time GPS, so you might be a little bit late, but you can at least you'll probably make all of them, if not the full time for most of the time. And she was like, I just can't, because if I get lost, I'm going to have a panic attack. So this girl just didn't work for like 3 days while her phone was in the shop getting fixed. And I was like, come on. Y'all, this is learned helplessness, guys. Who is my children gonna know how to read maps? Because what the do you mean you didn't go to work for 3 days because you couldn't? And the comments on it were so funny because it was just like, millennials who were disgusted at the story and shocked, and then Gen Zers who were like, but I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what to do. I genuinely wouldn't know what to do. Like they were like, I would not know.
Yeah. I mean, to some degree, there's also just needing to have understanding of like, east, west, just general direction type of stuff. Even if you didn't, have the exacts, it's like, but
here's the thing. It's one thing when you're going someplace completely new.
Right.
But these were people that she'd been working with all day, every day. So it's like, are you really, I mean, I feel like
Yeah, that is kind of, I know at
After you
least
use GPS to go the same place every day, you stop needing
you
GPS. Like
should.
you may not be like, oh man, I always forget it's this turn, and you may
Mm-hmm.
like have to drive around a block or something.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you generally already know because you have been using GPS and then you
Mm-hmm.
have the written instructions, you'll be fine. I was really trying to hyper up. Like you will be fine. It'll be okay. You can always call the parent and be like, I'm here, and see if they can help you out.
That too. That
No.
is another thing you can
And
do.
I
That's what I used to do when I
yeah.
first started driving. I would, if I was lost or something like that, I would call wherever I'm going and be like, "Hey, I'm over here. I'm at
Mm-hmm.
this rest stop or
Yep.
whatever. This area is closer to you. Where do I need to go?" "Oh yeah, I know exactly where you are. Get off here, turn
Yeah.
left here, take this street." So, yeah, but
Yeah.
I know at least 3 ways to get to my job. At
Right.
least 3.
Yeah, it just pissed me off because I was like, this was literally me 8 years ago
Mm-hmm. Just living life.
doing the same thing
Just
when
living
I
life.
was a therapist. And how many times I got lost on a way to a client and still figured it out and went and like, well, I'm lost. Bye. I'm not coming.
Can't work today.
What?
Sorry.
I was like, you don't really want this job for real.
Mm-mm. No, they don't. Of course not. Well, we don't have to worry about our boy because he seems very equipped for the task that he's about to put himself through, which is clearly about to drive through several countries in the South American hemisphere. So,
Yeah.
um,
We'll have some talks about that next time because
mhm.
that's treacherous.
Is that the next episode?
It's got to be. I think so. I don't think they make
I
us
couldn't
wait
remember how much
after
time
he's
was it.
leaving. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I think it. I think it must be.
Okay.
I don't think we do a full time not seeing him, or
If
do
it
we have to wait 2 episodes?
No, it's not the next episode.
It's not.
The next one I think is Carol losing her mind. Remember?
Oh, it's only Carol again.
I think so.
Okay. I cannot wait until the final episode. I've been waiting to talk to y'all about that one. We got 3 more after this.
Yeah, so I think that's the next one we have coming. I remember that one distinctly. And then I think we get back to our man Manusos. And that's when I'll be very annoyed. Just get ready. I'm going to let you guys know right now. That episode upset me so much. Oh, we'll talk about it. Okay.
Well, with that, you can follow us on social media if you want to add on to what we've discussed here, ask us any questions, give us any thoughts, tell us if you loved it or you hated it. Follow us on Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, Lemonade, YouTube. We are at the UUR Pod on all of those socials. You can also email us at theuurpod@gmail.com. And we are right now actually having some regularly scheduled things on the Patreon.
Look at
so
us.
if you would like to come see what we're talking about over there, you can join our Patreon, patreon.com/the UUR pod, and join the Severed Floor tier for these special bonus content as well as the extended video episodes. You will get the full lengthy conversation we had about Euphoria today on there.
Look
as
at that.
well.
More bonus content. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, as always, please rate, review, subscribe wherever you find the podcast. We do enjoy reading your comments there as well. And the more you engage on the listening apps, the more they push it out to other people. So that would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, it would. Thanks for joining us, everyone. This has been the UUR. And remember, we hear you, Carol. You do not consent. No stem cells will be collected from your body. Your wishes will be respected.